First at 5 on your news leader, the shooting death of a beloved pastor and prominent leader in Memphis left plenty of people stunned, many asking, why would anyone kill Pastor Ricky Floyd? Well, tonight, only on News Channel 3, video showing a portion of what happened the night Pastor Floyd was shot to death. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. WREG has viewed the video provided to us by the attorneys of the woman charged with shooting Floyd. We have carefully considered the weight of what's shown and the sensitivity to all involved in this tragedy. But we also believe it's an important part of the story and one you deserve to see. Here's WREG investigator April Thompson.
Plenty of speculation surrounding the shooting of Pastor Ricky Floyd outside Mama's Bar and Kitchen March 12th. Phone video captured what appears to be some of the final moments of Pastor Floyd's life. It shows the Tahoe truck he is in putting on brakes, Pastor Floyd getting out, walking toward the person shooting the video as they yell to back up.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that, you know, please back the up.
Then the video drops out. WREG sat down with the attorneys for Samantha Marion, charged with shooting Pastor Floyd to death. They say the video speaks for itself.
The video does not capture the gunfire that would have taken place probably maybe 3 or 4 seconds later, but it clearly shows him approaching her aggressively after being told several times to stop and that he should not be, walking up on her like that.
Keith Perry says his client, Samantha Marion, was behind the camera shooting the video, and it came after Marion and a man she had met that night got into a heated religion discussion with Pastor Floyd inside the bar. Perry says when everyone was leaving, Pastor Floyd walked toward Marion, and the man got between them.
He stands in front of Reverend Floyd. He's knocked to the ground by Reverend Floyd, and when he does, the back of his head hits the pavement, he becomes a little stunned or dazed. Reverend Floyd then takes the telephone of Miss Marion, and he throws it to the ground, and he hurled a couple of insults or what have you, and then starts to walk off.
That's when he says Samantha Marion picks up her phone and starts videoing the license plate of the truck, since she had never met Floyd before. That's where the video picks up.
Whatever triggered him, he was upset with Mrs. Marion. He fought through 2 individuals to get to her, and watching him storm from the vehicle and approach her, it was clear that his intentions was definitely not to give her a hug and say, hey, let's work this out. But he had aggression in his heart and in his mind.
WREG acknowledges that this is only one piece of video from that night, and it does not include what police have described as Pastor Floyd holding his hands up and walking backwards away from Marion before falling to the ground. Out of respect for Pastor Floyd's family, WREG reached out to a family spokesperson and shared the video. It was their first time seeing it.
At this difficult time, we're just totally focused on prayer and maintaining our faith in the justice system. We trust that it will fulfill its purpose and provide us the answers and the accountability that is essential right now.
But Marion's attorneys believe the video shows their client was defending herself, and that should have been taken into consideration when she was in jail 7 days and given a $100,000 bond.
You're witnessing a person that has just been assaulted and is getting a tag number and trying to do what they're supposed to do, and you're witnessing a person who, despite the great 58 years that he has lived, and we're not asking anybody in the public to measure him by that last 30 minutes of his life or what have you, but for that last 30 minutes was angry.
For your news leader in Memphis, April Thompson.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo-Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. All right, and that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man. All right. And as you've seen from the clip that was played, a pastor that goes by the name of Ricky Floyd out of Memphis was at a bar and kitchen, I guess, where he was having a few drinks. And, one thing led to another, and he got in a heated debate between this woman and this man. And I guess it pursued outside of the bar where the woman was recording his vehicle as he was taking off. And that was enough to incite him to stop what he was doing. So to just get in his car and going on by his way and turn around and come to pursue her as to, probably want to say, why are you recording me? Okay. And one thing led to another. She pulled out a firearm and let off a few rounds, and he's no longer here. Okay. So you could be here today and gone tomorrow, man. Okay. Just like that. All right. That's why it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the true and living power, Yahweh. All right. We tell you to repent. All right. Now here it is. He's supposed to be a pastor, supposed to be level-headed. But what happened? He fell out of the scriptures. Okay. You at a bar, you trying to get in a religious debate. There's a time and place for everything, man. Okay. You at a bar, you're drinking, you're probably, getting turned up. And this woman probably, was talking to another man and may or may not have said something that, incited you or at least inquired you to say something about the religion, Christianity. She probably said she don't believe in, Christianity or something. And he felt the need, being a pastor, to interject himself into the conversation. One thing led to another. He pushed the man down. According to this report that we saw, his head hit the ground. All right. As he was talking to that lady, I guess they were both trying to get the lady, man. And that's what it always usually ends up over. A damn lady. Or a damn, I don't even want to use the word lady. A damn whatever, man. But it always ends up more times than none over a woman, a female. Okay? Especially when you got booze, liquor, alcohol, and you think you this man of the Lord in stature and you want this woman, but yet this other guy's talking to her and she chooses him over you. That got to make your ego feel some type of way. Okay, here it is. You got this nice Tahoe SUV. You went to this bar and grill. You thought you was going to get you a few drinks. You found you a lady. You see? That's why this whole so-called black culture got to go, man. All right? No accountability. All right? That woman probably was dealing with who knows how many other men. All right? But the thing of it is, you being a pastor, you're supposed to be able to be level-headed. Because why? You're supposed to be able to live these scriptures, man. All right? And if you knew the scriptures, you would know. You ain't supposed to be trying to go into a bar, have drinks, and try to, put yourself on someone else in a religious debate. What does it say? Matthew 10, if the blind lead the blind, they both shall, fall into a ditch. Let's grab that right quick like. Salakia. This is Matthew 15 and verse 14. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. All right? So here it is. You're supposed to be this so-called man of the Lord, a pastor, you know, and not just a pastor, but you know, you're 50-something years old, so you're supposed to have a little bit of wisdom on you, okay? But what happened? You went out, you went and got a few drinks, you seen a woman talking to somebody else you probably had an eye on, you know, you probably wanted to approach her, you know, and one thing led to another. You probably explained what you do, you see? She probably asked you what you do for a living, because you know how these chicks be at these bars and clubs and everything else. They want to know what you do for a living. You probably thought that it was in your best interest to tell her that you was a pastor, probably a well-renowned pastor of Memphis, you know, or she probably already know who you were, okay? And this other dude she probably was talking to, you know, probably wasn't feeling it, okay? And then you got into it over this religious debate. One thing led to another. It slowly pursued outside, and she started following you and recording you, probably trying to get, you know, footage of you from pushing down the dude and his head hitting the ground in the bar. And then you get out your car and approach her after she tells you numerous times to back up. And you still approach her. Now, they say there's video of him, you know, after she pulled out her firearm, that he put his hands up and walked back. All right? But see, you got to be wise as a serpent, okay? And harmless as a dove, man. It tells us that. Yahushua told her that. Yahushua told us that in Matthew 10 and 16. It's the way you carry yourself out here. All right? You going out to the bars drinking, and you can't hold your liquor, and you getting all worked up over a damn woman? Hey, man. If you got to drink, have a drink or two at home, man. Especially going to these bars, you drinking that strong drink. You're going to be on edge, man. If you having a little bit of discussion with a woman and you know, you telling her about what you do, you're a pastor, you're a preacher, and then somebody else come in and interrupt you, you may feel some type of way. You see? She may have been feeling you for a little bit, you know, but then she got tired of that religious stuff. She said that, what? I'm out here drinking, trying to have a good time. I don't want to be, you know, reminded of my sins or whatever. You know how these pastors be, man. Hypocrites. Tell you one thing and then they do something totally different. All right, but these simple ass women, you know, they like a so-called man of the Lord, because why? He's in authority. A pastor over a congregation, a church, he probably gave him a little bit of time, but this other dude walked in and killed his whole mood. You know, so a debate pursue, a religious debate, okay? And he got, you know, riled up to the point where he pushed the dude and he, you know, he fell back and hit his head, man. And she probably wanted to record him taking off and leaving in his Tahoe. All right? Who knows, man? But the thing of it is, man, you got to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, because you could have avoided all of this. All right? You could have avoided all of this. This is St. Matthew 10 and 16. It reads, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves." So we out and about, we understand. Hey, for the most part, the people that we come into on a day-to-day basis, they ain't going to be open up to this truth, man. And guess what? We ain't going to try to push it down their throat, man. Okay? You see? But this is what's to be expected in these so-called Christian churches, man, when they try to put their religion and force it down onto you. Okay? We're going to tell you one time, and if you don't get it, we may tell you twice, but after that, we're going to reject you. As I say, after the first and second admonition, reject thee, unless thou become a heretic, okay? So we're going to tell it to you once or twice, and if you can't get it after that, we moving on, man. We don't care if you a woman, if you look, you know, drop dead gorgeous, because this is what happened, okay? He probably thought she was drop dead gorgeous. He probably wanted to flood his little bit of authority over being a pastor of a large church in Memphis, and thought that was going to impress her, but she was more impressed by a dude that don't, you know, follow the religion, and he probably felt some type of way, pushed dude, said he was entertaining the young lady. Next thing you know, he left. She pursued after him to record him, to show to the police or whatever, and he got out of his vehicle, came forward towards her. She said, stop, get away. You know, he kept coming, advancing, and then she probably pulled out the firearm. He probably put his hands up and started to retreat, walk back, but she probably, you know, went ahead and just did it all. Fired a couple of pops at him. All right? So when you wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, you understand that what? You ain't trying to, you know, force anything down on anybody, man. You know, it's a time and place for everything. Being inside a bar trying to preach to somebody ain't it, okay? Especially when half of the people in there is inebriated. They ain't gonna retain that information anyways, man. All right? So it says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. All right? You ain't gonna see no dove, you know, trying to fight a damn eagle or a hawk. No, you're gonna see him using what? Wisdom. Okay? Avoid those type of places, man. Especially if, you know, you get, you know, rage when you drink. You know, you got some people that drink and, you know, get tipsy and dumb. And then you got some people when they drink, they get rage and they get mad and they get, you know, if you know your type of character when you drink, don't go to them damn places drinking, man, because it ain't gonna take too much for somebody to upset you and you go off, man. And you never know what they got or what they carrying, man. Okay? So these scriptures is not just for us to be preaching and teaching, although that is part of it, but it's actually for us to to be living, okay? And that's what you find out with these pastors, these preachers of these so-called Christian churches, okay? They preach one thing, but they do something totally different, man. All right? See if I can get that in Titus. This is Titus 3 and verse 10. It says, a man that is a heretic, and that goes for women too, after the first and second admonition reject, man. You don't supposed to just, you tell them once, you tell them twice, if they don't get it after that, man, just, hey, get on, let them go about their way, man. Don't force yourself onto someone, man. All right? And you know, you drinking, you probably don't have no a keen awareness that you forcing yourself onto somebody. All right? That's why you gotta, hey, it's a time and place for everything, man. All right? You know, going to the bar, drinking, trying to force or preach to, you know, halfway inebriated people ain't the place, man. All right? It's just not. So now this is Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 16. It reads, be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? You see? That's what happened. He destroyed himself for being too righteous, man. Trying to get into a religious argument or a debate in a bar, where you know half the people in there is drunk and the other half is going to get drunk. Come on, man. You could have just stayed at home and had a few drinks, man. You see? But Jake, he don't care. He want to go out, find a woman, whether or not she got a husband or not, and probably end up piping her down, man. You see? But it's only so long till the Most High shows up, man. All right? And get you for all your wickedness, okay? Because a lot of these so-called pastors and preachers, man, they tell you one thing, but they live something totally different behind closed doors, man. All right? And the Most High, as it says in Proverbs 15 and 3, he has eyes in every place, man. All right. He knows what you do when you leave that congregation and you go and you live your life. All right. So he got eyes in every place, man, and you can't escape. All right. And eventually, if you don't repent, judgment is going to come. This time, judgment came in the form of a what? A woman that was toting and what? Used it. All right. So it says, be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Ecclesiastes 7:16. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? You see? So it's a way you got to carry yourself in this walk, man. All right? It's a time and place to preach. It's a time and place to teach. That's why we got these digital epistles. All right? We're teaching over the internet. That's why we go out on the highway and hedges. We're preaching out there where the people could come and see and inquire if they're sincere or not what it is that we're preaching. We ain't gonna go to no bar and get in no debate. That's another thing, that debate spirit, man. Okay? You got a lot of Israelites that know they Israelites that's in that debate spirit, man. All right? That debate spirit's gonna get you caught up, man. All right? And you see what happened. They got in an argument, a debate over religion, and one thing led to another. One person ain't here no more. All right? So you see, these scriptures is for your own benefit if you apply them to your everyday walk of life. All right? So it says, Ecclesiastes 7:16, be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? You got to understand, man. Like that old song says, you got to know when to fold them and know when to hold them. If somebody ain't susceptible to what you preaching, or you feel like you see it, you can read them. Sometimes you can read a person's, body language and see that they ain't really receptive to what you saying. And hey, it is what it is, man. Let them go on about their way, man. You don't try to sit here and beat them over the head till they get it. No, man. You just tell them if they don't accept it, hey, you did your part. All right? This is Proverbs 20 and verse 1. It says, wine is a marker. Strong drink is raging. You see? Some people, they can't hold a liquor, that strong drink, that Henny. Okay? They get on that Henny, they turn into a Incredible Hulk, man. Homeboy popped out the damn Tahoe and was coming like wasn't no tomorrow, man. All right? She had that thing on video record. Who knows what she recorded? But he popped out, pursued her, and next thing you know, he ain't here. See, some people can't hold a liquor, man. Some people, when they drink, they get clumsy and tipsy and dumb. Other people, they get aggressive, and you just like a bull. Okay? It says, wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Right? You drink to the point where you can't even hold your own liquor. You don't know that you tipsy. You don't know that you showing signs of aggression. You ain't wise anymore. All right? You're giving over to those spirits. All right? That's why they say spirits. You go to the ABC store, it's spirits and wine, man. You drink too much, them damn spirits gonna jump on you, man. All right? That drunken spirit. All right? That ain't gonna take, heed to what? Take heed to the sound doctrine, man. Because you could be in the truth, but if you don't apply these scriptures to your everyday walk of life, guess what? You're going to be given over to those seducing spirits, man. Or have one more drink. Next thing you know, you out there with your clothes down. You out there half naked. You out there trying to pick a fight with everybody in the crowd, man. You see? So you got to be wise, man. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. What do we read? Matthew 10:16. Be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. All right? These scriptures ain't just for you to be preaching them in church. You got to apply them to your life, man. All right? You got to apply them to your everyday walk of life. That's what they're there for. That's what they're here for. All right? But once again, these so-called phony-ass pastors and preachers, they talk a good game, but they don't walk it, man. All right? And this is just one case. All right? We got to learn from this. Somebody tell you they don't want to be pursued and leave them alone. Leave them alone, man. Don't try to keep forcing your religion down their throat, man. Shit, it is what it is, man. That goes with your family members too, man. You got family members that tell you to what? Hey, I don't want to hear that religious stuff. Every time you come over here, you preach that religious stuff. You preach that gospel. Hey, man, don't go around them then, man. You know, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. You know, you ain't got to force it down their throat. You know, or if you do go around it, just, hey, keep it to yourself, man. All right, be not righteous over much. Okay, and that's what we gotta do. We gotta practice what we preach, man. We gotta walk it like we talk it, not like these damn fake, phony ass pastors and preachers, man. All right, so it is what it is, man. You know, another. You can't even say a love triangle because this was at the bar, man. She didn't know either one of them. All right, she presumably met both of them at the bar. Whether or not she knew who Pastor Ricky was besides the point. All right, they got in a heated debate over religion, and hey, someone didn't get back home, you know. Unfortunately, it was the Pastor Ricky, and hey, it's a learning lesson, man. It's a learning lesson. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, Yahweh, man. Calling on that name, Jesus, Christ, God. Only but so long you gonna the Most High gonna turn his head the other way, man. Especially with this truth being out and the volume that is in, you know, you can't deny the fact that what? People know who they are according to the Bible, Israelites, but yet they still want to preach a world-friendly doctrine, all right? And that's the reason, man. All right, the Most High is getting fed up with it, all right? And he's starting to, you know, bring forth judgment, okay? So repent while you still got time, man. This is 1 Peter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. See, these spirits, they jump on people too, man. All right? And if you ain't, you know, prayed up in this truth, got the whole armor on, you are subject to any type of judgment, man. Whether you a so-called man of the Lord, a preacher, a pastor, or whether you are a so-called, you know, fiend or whatever, man. You know, you never know what be in these damn bars, man. All type of spirits, man. Drug addicts, fiends, drunks. Here we had a pastor, a preacher. You don't know what type of spirits be in these damn bars, man. Serving up them liquors, man. All you know is once that liquor start flowing, man, they personalities start showing. All right? And if you ain't right with the Lord, man, he might have put you in that place just for judgment. All right? So we got to take this word serious, man. So be sober. Be vigilant. Keep everything in perspective. All right? Don't just preach it and then once you leave camp or you leave your so-called congregation, you go back into the world, man. All right? Especially these damn Christians pastors, man. That's what they do. They preach on Sunday and they go back to sinning on Monday. All right? So we ain't like those pastors and preachers that preach one thing and say something else. We actually apply what we preach to our everyday life, man. All right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So if you ain't right, get right, for it's too late, man. Time is running out, okay? So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.